I believe that we are now live. Good afternoon. I'm Jessica Hentoff, Jessica the Circus Lady, and this is the Up in the Air live stream from Circus Harmony, being posted on the City Museum Facebook page because City Museum is the home of Circus Harmony. And while Circus Harmony is not currently performing in the ring there, the museum is open. You should go. It's very spacious. The roof is open, but just for a few weekends. So you can find all that information on the City Museum website page at citymuseum.org. And don't forget to use the code GOHARMONY when you buy your tickets. And now, while we're waiting for other people to log on, we're going to share a little video with you, a little piece of an upcoming show that we're going to be presenting online called The Balancing Act. So this is where we test my techno peasantry skills. Yes, apparently I'm still a techno peasant, and there's always something, but here's a little taste of the Bailey Brothers partner acting. Watch this and find other people to join and watch the live stream with you right now. I am so sorry. I told you I was a techno peasant. I didn't mean to cut it off right there, but I only want to give you a little taste because on October 10th, Circus Harmony is presenting The Balancing Act, Walking the Pandemic Tightrope. It's a show unlike any we've ever done before, for a time unlike any we've ever been in before. It features new acts, new music, and a lot of introspection and information, and maybe some advice on how you could stay balanced in this unbalanced time from our current students and from some of our alumni. And today I'm very excited because the special guest for the show is a woman who is the parent of a circus student. She serves on the board of directors. She's a student herself, and it just so happens in her day job, in her non-circus life, she is also a video director and producer. So we are very fortunate to have her with us as part of Circus Harmony, and right now coming in to the live stream. Please welcome to the ring, Patti Chambers. See, she's defying gravity.
There we go. Hi.
Such a circus lady. So, yeah, welcome. Thank you.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Thanks for everything that you do for Circus Harmony. And I have to say, I think you've always been one of our biggest cheerleaders. And I think part of that is because you've seen it from every aspect. And you've gotten to know so many of our students, as well as being a student yourself.
It's true. And I love it so very much. I worked for a number of years in social services. I'm a video producer, director, and I told lots of different stories about lots of different organizations here in St. Louis and across the country. And Circus Harmony and the program there does more good for more people that come at it from all different angles, and it meets everybody right where they are. And that has always fascinated me about circus. I've just, I love circus anyway, but the fact that it's so amazing at what it can do to change lives and bring us together has always, it's made me a huge fan.
And you've probably seen, I need to readjust things. Whoa. You've probably seen more of our shows than any other person, for a number of reasons. You've also done the photography. So if you've seen a great picture of flying children caught midair, chances are Patti Chambers took that photo. But the show that we're working on now, because usually last year we did, our teachers and students together presented over 740 shows. And since the pandemic, we've done a few Zoom shows for different clients, and we have done some of our 6 feet circus shows where we come somewhere where we can be socially distanced and has to be outside. But we miss doing our shows at City Museum, and we spent the summer working on this new show, The Balancing Act, which has a lot of moving pieces. And then I called you because I knew what you did in real life, and I asked if you could help us stitch together this quilt of experience and artistry. And that's what you've been doing a lot.
A lot. Going back and forth with the fabulous Laura Lippert, who is also integral to this project and has done a lot of the heavy lifting. I don't want to create the impression that I am working on this alone.
And if people follow the Up in the Air live stream, Laura was one of our first guests ever, and she was a recent guest. She's our chair aerialist who hangs by her hair. She's a chairialist, but she's also a video editor, and she did some great videos of our summer camp kids, and is one of our coaches and choreographers, and is the acting coach. And this is the first show that the young people in it have really had a voice, both literally and figuratively.
I've really enjoyed that. I mean, that's another huge component of this that has nothing to do with myself or Laura, in the sense that kids from our program are talking about their personal experience. Then they're interpreting it with the camera, with an act, and also with some amazing monologues that are reflective of what they're going through, of what they're thinking, what they're feeling. They're so amazingly honest. They're just, yeah, I'm astounded by the deep thinking and the desire for connection and to make the world better that is coming out from what these folks are saying. I mean, it's just, I know them all, but I just am blown away by.
And we're always astounded by their abilities in the ring, but to hear what they're feeling as people right now. So I have 2 clips. I don't want to show the whole thing, but I wanted to show a little bit from Midnight Rose and afterwards from Will. But if you'll bear with my techno peasantry. No, this is what I've been telling people who watch the live stream. If there's ever one where it's really smooth and there's no glitches, that's the end of the pandemic, sadly.
Well, I need to work with you on that so we can hurry this thing up.
That's what'll do it. Okay, so we don't want that one. See, this is where I'm already in trouble. This is exactly what I mean. So if we do that, okay, good. Why don't we do a little bit of Will? Okay.
I've been going to protests since before I can remember. For my parents, it was cheaper than getting a babysitter, and they weren't just not going to protest. But there's something different about those memories and marching in the streets today, and I don't think I'm the only one who can feel it.
And I think that's what people will get when they're watching these different perspectives on the pandemic, on the protests, on the presidential election, is it does feel different right now. When I say this is a show unlike any we've ever done for a time, unlike any we've ever been in, I really mean it. And kids as young as 9 feel it.
Yes, one of the things that there were a couple of things that kids said that just I had to stop and go for a walk, because it was just the first time I listened to their monologue. It was very difficult to imagine. One of our students says, talks about dealing with stress. And how old is Dennis? I mean, he's 12, right? And he's talking about methodologies for dealing with stress. And I just thought, what has the world come to? I mean, at 12, I was, I don't know what I was thinking, but it sure wasn't about stress, right?
Yeah. And people should take advice from what he said, actually.
Yes, I was listening. Yeah, but the kids have such amazing perspective, and I think there are some really great ideas. You talk about positive things. One of the things that really cheered me up was one of our contortionists, Sarah, saying that, happiness is a choice, and you can choose it. I mean, we know for some people that is more difficult to do, but on my down days, I do think about that and think, what can I do today that's positive, that makes me happy or makes someone else happy? And I'm very grateful to have heard that from her. And I know that wasn't just something that she fluffed off. It was something she deeply felt, and it's how she's getting through all of this.
Yeah, it's such an interesting show, and it's just layers of show, and it's great circus. So it really is something the whole family can watch. I also want to touch for a moment on the fact that you serve on our board of directors, because Circus Harmony is a nonprofit. Hello, folks. It's really hard for nonprofits these days, especially in the arts, because so many shows are canceled. We're we're a circus school, we're a social circus school. So many of the venues where we usually teach at are closed. So having a board of directors is always important, and especially now. So I want to thank you for that. And if you want to talk about what it's like serving on the board of directors of a very small grassroots nonprofit in St. Louis, because you've grown up here and you've been part of the art scene in a lot of different ways.
So we are a very small but mighty board. Just an amazing group of human beings who jump in and do everything that they can, financially and strategically, and come and sell tickets at the shows, and our ushers. And I mean, that's actually our favorite part, but but I have learned so much from all the different board members. There's plenty to learn in whatever you're doing. And I really appreciate the perspective that we have in our board members. There are people who think very deeply about workers. There are people who think very deeply about equity, about differences that are perceived based on religion or race. There are people who connect us to companies that are wonderfully supportive. My own organization, Edward Jones, it has been a wonderful supporter of circus, and I'm deeply grateful to our firm that they continue to help us. So yeah, it's a labor of love. It's terrifying sometimes, because especially right now when we're trying to make sure that the finances are in place to make sure that this program continues. But I have to tell you, I don't think there's a single person on the board that doesn't deeply believe in the mission of Circus Harmony, and doesn't believe that Circus Harmony is impacting social change. Making the film, to go back to that, just seeing the type of young people that we've had the opportunity to help grow, and that their thoughtfulness and their connectivity to each other, I mean, it gives me great hope. And it also, I'm very proud of them, but I'm also proud of the fact that your organization, that our organization has had a hand in shaping their world and how they see their world. And the lovely thing about circus is that you can't stay disconnected and do circus. You got to touch each other. You got to take risks. You have to trust, which is huge. You have to be honest, so all these great values. And I've never seen anything, again, to go back to that. The ring is this amazing leveler. I don't care if you're on the spectrum, if your dad's in prison, if you have everything in the world that you ever needed, and you're just there to have fun. You got two arms, but your legs don't work. Really doesn't matter. Where you get in that ring, and it doesn't matter where you came from, who you are. Everybody's working on a problem. They come together as a group to solve it. The teachers are there to help them understand the basics of how to do something, but the kids work it out a lot. And
They
that
work it out
interaction,
interpersonally, and they also work out the acts. Some of the acts in this show were created just by the kids.
yeah.
It's
And I
pretty-
mean, I honestly, even being a creative person, I have to tell you, like, just I've been in some doozies of creative arguments, and watching the kids have that give and take in a very loving way, in a very generous way, frequently. It makes me ashamed sometimes. I'm like, I need to be more generous with my colleagues.
Well, you've also been generous to us that several times, not once, but several times. You have hosted some of our international students. We get youth circus interns from Germany, and several have stayed at your home, and you've supported other interns that we've had, and stay in touch with them still yet. And I think you would have been in Germany this summer if the pandemic hadn't hit, visiting one of them.
I had plans. I was going to visit 2 and actually hop over to Rotterdam and see Yahel. So it would have been 3. And Yahel's from Israel, but he's studying in Rotterdam.
And was a student.
Yeah, it's been, that has been the great joy and gift back to me. Honestly, hosting has been an amazing thing. I have dear friends now that are across the world. I am no longer a stranger in those places, and I've been connected to the circuses that they're a part of. My son David, who was in circus for years and years, had the benefit of having these wonderful brothers from other countries come, and yeah, and the fact that they're still all in touch and that we're, you know, dear friends, has been a very rewarding thing. So, you know, it was, I mean, heck, it was a room and a few meals. Who cares? You know, it was.
Well, some of them could eat quite a bit.
That is, I will say, if you're thinking about hosting, circus boys, circus men do require a bit of nourishment. They need to eat. So.
We won't mention which one it was, but you had made, you had cooked for the week. And go ahead, you finish the story.
No, we were rehearsing Big Show. And my son David was in it, and Jan, our intern at the time. I love you, Jan. If you watch this, I love you, adore you. But I work a full-time job, and when you're in rehearsal for Big Show, you're living a circus. You literally get home from school and work. You go right to
our annual full-length show, which now is going to be online. But yeah.
Right. So we're in, heavy rotation, and all weekend too. And we cook at our house. We eat whole foods. And so I spent a weekend, I got up really early and made all this food, and I made food for the entire week. And I came home and went to grab the supper the next night to take it to circus. Jan was already at circus and half the fridge was gone. And I was like, where did all the food go? And I got to circus, and Jan was sitting there with the giant bin of food that was supposed to feed all of us, finishing off the last spoonful with a very happy, satisfied smile on his face.
Oh, you're a very good cook. But he thought that was one serving.
Yeah, because for him that was one serving. I mean, it was only logical, and yeah. But I adored Jan. He was so great to David. He really, really was. That was, I think, probably, one of the greatest experiences for David is to have this great big guy who would pick him up and put him on his bicycle and then ride behind him and take him all over the city and teach him German. And
but you talk about him being like a big brother. Circus really is a family.
Oh yes, definitely.
Ours very much so. And so it's been very challenging for people to be apart. And yet we still managed to come together and create this show. And I'm usually on top of all the creative part of putting together a show, but I don't know anything about video producing or editing or anything. And then we're getting film or video from people's cameras, and
Mhm.
sound from people's phones, and you're cutting and pasting and editing and making it a seamless story. It's really
Oh.
extraordinary. People should tune in for that, because if there was an Academy Award for circus editing, there you
Well,
go.
Laura too. I was to say she's really had a lot to do with all of this editing. It,
I'm so
I,
grateful to both of you.
yeah, it's very interesting. I would say it's kind of like a collection of home movies, but there's these wonderful monologues that go along with them, and I think that really it just adds a level of depth to it. And yeah, the audio's not perfect, and the filming's not perfect, and it's not what it's not an HBO special in that way, but it's a loving hands at home kind of presentation
And
that
good
brings
circus.
and really good circus. And the other thing that's just astounding is, I mean, kids are in parking lots, they're in fields, they're on their living room sofa and in their kitchen,
In
you
their
know.
very narrow bedrooms.
Right. But if you've ever lived with a circus kid, this is normal to you.
And I should say that if people want to watch it, they have to register right now.
Yes,
We'll
please.
finish the live stream, then go to circusharmony.org, register. It is free, and we want as many people to watch it as possible. It's going to be Saturday, October 10th, 7 p.m. Central Time. People will be watching it in Germany for sure, in Australia, all over the world.
over the
But we
world.
hope that everybody watches it, tells their friends, and it's something the whole family can watch. And yes, we talk about serious subjects, but we are in a time when these things are happening. And I think the perspective of the young people on all of these things, and they're the ones who are going to be most impacted by the election, by the solution or lack of solution to the racial inequity, and by the pandemic. This is their time in school that they're missing, and their time doing other things that's being affected. So I really hope that people will tune in and watch. So thank you so much for being
Oh,
a
you're
guest
so
and
welcome.
being on the board and being a student. And I posted your picture, as a way to promote the live stream. And the comments were, look at that split. Wow, that woman can do a split.
Thank you, Rosa. If you're listening, thank you, Rosa.
So the
Which is what we
our
always say when
consortium teacher.
which is what we always say when she pushes us too hard. Thank you, Rosa. Please stop.
But also, we should say that anybody, any age, any level, can take our classes. Even now online, we bring the big top under your rooftop, and we have some classes that are in person. We're doing them at Hudson Park and Ferguson. We just added an open juggling club. Bring your own equipment. We will help you, whether you're doing balls, clubs, Diablos. Bring something and juggle with us. We also have a unicycle club, and we've just started beginner intermediate tumbling. So all of that is on our website at circusharmony.org. Now I'm going to let you go, and then I'm going to show a small clip of the Midnight Rose video, but it's just the beginning, and I really hope, people will tune in and see the rest, because Circus Harmony has ordinary children doing extraordinary things, and they have phenomenal insight into what's happening today. And we are all walking this pandemic tightrope. It does feel like it keeps getting extended. And my hope is that this film will help people get across. It's making it has certainly helped us take a few steps forward.
Yes, I just want to say, I can't say enough about the kids and the alumni who, again, were so deeply personal and willing to share their vulnerabilities and just being so truthful and authentic. And I really love them for that. And yes, please do watch it. It's worth it. And again, all credit really goes to them and their resilience and their willingness to help us do this and sometimes reshoot and all that fun stuff. So thanks, guys, for being a part of that.
All right, well, thank you very much. I'm going to see if I can share the screen again and show a little bit of Midnight Rose. And then for people who come to the live stream, it will be time for Maple's trick of the day.
Oh, yay.
All right, bye. Thank you. Oh, see, I'm still having troubles. So we want to show a little bit of Midnight Rose. Oh dear. Here we go. There with this techno peasant. Thank you.
At the beginning of 2020, I had such high hopes for the year. I was like, I'm finally a senior. This is going to be my year. It's going to be awesome. You know, all that good stuff. But then the pandemic happened. I didn't lose hope that quickly. I knew that it was really bad, but I would still say, well, it can only get better from here, right? But I found, as I kept saying that, it keeps finding ways to become worse. And normally I would say I'm being dramatic because 9 times out of 10 I am. But this is one of the first times that I can say I'm really not.
And that's the little bit that I'm going to show of that, because I really hope people will tune in and watch the full show. Again, it's going to be on Saturday, October 10th. Thank you very much, Patti Chambers, for being part of our circus family and for helping to make the balancing act come alive on video.
Thanks for letting me be a part of the family. It really matters.
Well, you know, we welcome people.
Come be a part of our family. We got lots of room. We'll make new chairs if we don't have enough at the table.
Great. Thanks. All right. You can just leave the way you would a Zoom meeting. Our board meetings now are on Zoom. And I do this awkward thing where I put the computer on the floor and we bring you Maple's trick of the day. Oh, and there's Maple is getting ready for her trick of the day. Oh, Maple, could you go to the circus? Go home. No, go to the circus. You're right. Go to the circus. Yes. She now has a circus as well as a house. Could you go to the circus? Oh, yeah. It's better if you go. Oh, go to the circus. Oh, there you go. Because this was really one of the first tricks Maple learned, and that we did on this show. And it's very simple. It's just, have you seen Maple? Have you seen Maple? Oh, where's Maple? Where's Maple? Why? Where's Maple? There she is. Good Maple. And then those of you who've been watching us in quarantine know that Maple learned how to weave while she was in quarantine. She learned how to weave. She just learned how to do figure 8. And she learned how to spin. All of these things she learned in quarantine. So I hope you've all been learning new tricks. And if not, can you take a nice bow? Can you take a nice bow? Thank you so much. If you haven't been learning new tricks, don't forget we're doing our classes monthly. So you can register online at circusharmony.org. And Maple, can you go get some coffee? Where's the coffee? It's circus coffee. Why, thank you so much. Thank you for bringing me the coffee. This is indeed Circus Harmony's very own Defy Gravity coffee. Maple and I drink it. Well, she doesn't drink coffee. I do not give coffee to the dog. I drink the coffee. You can drink the coffee. You just need to order it online at circusharmony.org. And now, Miss Maple, you seem to have lost your fire. For hoop of fake fire. Are you ready, Maple? Hop, Maple, hop, Maple. And there's Miss Maple. She is working on some new tricks. Can you go home? Go home. Go home. She's still sheltering in place, but she is working on some new tricks. We don't think they're quite ready to bring to the screen, but we're here every Tuesday at 4 o'clock Central Time on City Museum's Facebook page. So thank you so much for tuning in. We also hope that you're following us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. And of course, that you'll register for the Balancing Act, Walking the Pandemic Tightrope, which will be happening October 10th. There's a special event that's happening with that, so keep an eye on our social media and you'll find out about that as well. register for classes, order the Defy Gravity coffee. It's really, really good coffee. And in addition to registering for our classes and to see our show, I really sincerely and deeply hope you are registered to vote. So thanks. I'm Jessica, the circus lady, drinking my Defy Gravity coffee, and I hope to see you at Juggling Club on Sunday. Bring your own juggling equipment and we'll juggle. Bye. Thank you.